Wired Axcess.
We'll do it live.
Wired Access.
Do it live.
Wired Access.
We'll do it live.
Wired Axcess.
Welcome to Wired Access Podcast, where I'm your host, DJ KDub, Omaha, and we're a part of the Hurrdat Sports production. Again, I greatly appreciate those who like, support, share, do everything to make sure that this message from everybody that we interview gets to the next level. Remember, you guys see me out at games. I cover all the sports from pro to high school, especially. I have something that we've added this last week, and hopefully you've seen it. We have a chain that we're actually going to present to the player of the game. It's going to be called the Plug and Play Wired Access Player of the Game. So if you see me out and about and you get player of the game, and we're going to do an interview afterwards, be ready to throw this chain on. Feel that. How's the weight look on that?
That's hefty.
It's a good thing to help support everybody out there and show how good you do in a game. But today we have the Omaha Stockmen owner,
Director of Marketing.
Director of Marketing, Michael Whaley. Michael, welcome to the show. Man, you reached out to me, but I've also, so the Stockmen for me go way back.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't shared this on any of these shows, but so the way I got into coaching is I went to play semi-pro.
Mm-hmm.
There was a team called the Saints.
Mm.
And we get there and I'm like gonna try out and I think I'm gonna play and all of a sudden there was no coach. There was no one talking. People were it just seemed like a cluster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I just started the warm-ups and here I am at late 20s thinking I'm gonna play football again. I'm gonna put the pads on.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know it turned into a 10-year plus coaching career because the people that were trying out listened when it came to working out, came to all that. But anyways, with the Saints, there was an owner, and when I talked to him, he kept talking money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll get into that with you as well.
Yeah.
Because for these semi-pro teams, the money's not like it's just given.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that someone behind the books works hard to obtain, whether it's through connections, whether it's through just reaching out to the community. There's a lot of people that want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
And so this guy just kept talking to these players. And when you look at the players of semi-pro, these are the athletes that have played probably in college, maybe even some no college, played high school, maybe even not high school.
Mm-hmm.
They're just looking for something. If they make the team, they make the team out of respect, right? But there is fees sometimes. There's stuff like that. So this guy kept going on and on about fees because he was like, I got to pay this $2,000 entry fee to bring a team to the league.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was when Google was there. And some guy, who knew that these kids didn't have a lot of money, Googled, how much does it cost to get a team into this league? And so then I found the total. We had a meeting because I talked to some of the players out of respect. And I said, how much does it cost? The guy says in front of everybody, $2,000. And I just say, bull crap, $200. It costs $500.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, if you're going to stay with him, go across that line. You're going to come with us and we'll find something for you. Come across this line. Mm-hmm. Somehow we got to the River City Raiders is where we kind of took everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing with that, we had Jerry Jones as the owner. I got put as offense coordinator, never, ever had that position or done that position.
Yeah.
And with semi-pro, and this is just some things people don't understand. As people get older, it doesn't mean that they're all dedicated for the same reason. They don't show up. I mean, even in high school, they don't show up every day, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're trying to put an offense together, the only way that you could get better is if you have consistency.
Yes.
And we didn't have consistency, and every once in a while we'd have to make up some play because of who we had.
Mm-hmm.
And like 2 games left, and I mean, I'm not getting paid jacks, nothing. This is all just me my son just was born, so I'm trying to just get into the football world because I went to an organization in the city of Bellevue.
Yeah.
Try to be a coach there. I gave them the form and they go, oh, you don't have a son in this? We're good. And he took the thing to the side, and that kind of gave me more motivation to want to. I said, oh, so you don't want to volunteer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Fast forward through the Raiders, I got let go, but then I caught with one of the coaches there, and he got me on an Omaha South. I did 8 years there. And then, of course, people from the Raiders, once that was over, Omaha Stockmen, that's where they started, was in Omaha South. So for the first year, I mean, it's a blur now. Like, if I think about it, it's a blur, but I remember being up in the press box, and I can't remember if I was like doing score or announcing. I wasn't like coaching because I knew I couldn't dedicate my time. And I think that's something people take for granted.
Yes.
Call me coach. I can only be there part-time. Call me coach. Let me get that position. I just felt like I didn't want to do a disservice for the players. You've had a lot of our athletes that I coach, not just from Omaha South, but I coached at the Junior Skyhawks. I coached at the Junior Titans. And just some of those players I've seen kind of grow semi-pro in this area. What is it, and how long have you been with the Stockmen?
Semi-pro in this area is really big, honestly. I think a lot of people don't really realize, how many semi-pro teams are in Omaha. I'm true and loyal to Stockman because I've been there since they're my first semi-pro team, and I've been there since 2019.
Okay.
And I don't ever look at myself ever leaving. Semi-pro for us, it's not just a hobby or something fun to do. It's actually a brotherhood. I look at every single one of those guys as family.
And when you think of the first time getting back in, where did your football career start? What all do you remember, and how far did you get before you got with the Stockmen?
So I'll say, like, actually playing, of course you got the Pop Warner days, but played in Nathan Hale Middle School. Looked to play in Burke as well. Didn't do too much. I was 5'4", 190 pounds. The body didn't come in yet, but after high school, I still had that itch to play. That's when my body started forming. I started getting taller, stronger, faster.
Now, can I ask real quick, how old were you when you graduated?
I graduated 17.
Okay. Man, you never know how important interviews are and messages are, because my son just graduated 17. And of course, it's like growing through the roof, like becoming the man. Don't be afraid to reclassify your athlete before they get to high school. I couldn't start my son because he was so smart. If I would have delayed his start in school, that would have been a disservice. But when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, that last year from 17 to 18 is so important. And there's a lot of athletes in this area that people hate on about it, whether it's McMorris, whether it's Jackson, you guys have no idea until you live it and you're proof. My son's one that I could say that I wish he had one more year. And I'm not saying it because you guys quit or anything like one more year of growth. How important would have that have been for you? Even at Burke, I mean, you're challenged by your height. But when you know what the competition is, how important would that have been?
Oh, so important. So important. And at that day, we had Lamanji. So, he's winning with Westside now. But at that point, 18 or 17 turning 18 and body fully growing, I'm like, oh yeah, I can compete and actually have fun and possibly get a scholarship to maybe not a D1 school, but even a D2 or a mid-level school. That would have been tremendous for me.
Well, and I think right now, I mean, we've said it with multiple people, and we interview a lot of high school kids that make those big decisions, and we've had ones that continue to not only find their place, but then it gets them possibly boosted to other places. And when you say that important thing of just the mental feeling that you would have had knowing the opportunity was there, when you think of even just thinking of the sport beyond high school, and knowing that it's kind of out of grasp, what was that like just growing up? And obviously you've turned it into something else to be productive with it.
Honestly, I lived in like a bubble. I didn't know that football outside of high school really lived. A lot of kids have the idea of high school, pro, college, and then pro. There's so much football outside of just high school and then getting to the NFL. And the Omaha Stockmen opened my eyes to that. Semi-pro is a whole different beast. Like you've stated, you got fees, you got other players who are just working 9 to 5s, just giving the love to the game because they miss it.
So you graduated what year?
2015.
2015. So I'm trying to think, man. Yeah, I was at South until 2017-18. My last class was Noah and them.
Okay.
Noah, Monte, and all them.
Yeah.
Who would have been Burke.
Yeah.
They would have been Burke.
Would have been Burke, but
some coach or coaches.
Yep.
I don't know who.
Yep.
I don't know any names.
Yep.
But they decide to pinhole a player that could play both ways to one position because that's what a school like a Burke at that time had to do.
Exactly.
Now they're opposite. They need every player on deck, everybody up.
Yep.
But when you had a school like that where it's not just you could play both ways, and even next man up is hard to get next man up. I mean, they had Noah, they wanted him defense only. And now look at him in the NFL. Yep. I mean, just because he went to Omaha South, like, go where you're wanted and go where you want to feel you can succeed. And obviously his brother helped with that and his dad. And, you know, those are hard decisions to make, right?
Yep.
Do I want to go to Omaha Burke where we win championships?
Or do
where I don't get to play or get to play? Or do I want to go where I can showcase what I can do and then it's more on me?
Exactly.
You know, and so at Burke, were you a multi-sport athlete? Were you just football? Were you
mainly just football?
Yeah.
Blood football. My dad told me it's okay that you don't like the Huskers, but if you don't like football, you're not my son.
Okay.
And
All right.
I like having a dad. So
yeah,
football through and through.
If you think of just the high school days and if there's something you would tell the high school Michael that would have possibly changed maybe your trajectory through high school. And I only bring this up because every time there's those athletes that think they know.
Exactly.
And then if they could just get one word from someone that has lived it, looking back and going, not that I could have, but still something you would give your freshman or sophomore Michael.
Continue to learn. There's no idea of football where you're not going to learn something. Continue to learn and continue to grow yourself. If you are a student of the game and a student of your position, you're going to go somewhere, whether it's pro, semi-pro, D1, D2, doesn't matter. Just continue to grow and continue to fight.
And if you look at, obviously you've played with some athletes that didn't have to do the extra. Being a guy who had to do the extra, how does that change your feelings toward this game when you're like, this guy's not trying, but he's also not performing where he could be? How does that change your thoughts and your realization to go, man, even if you have it all, doesn't mean you give it all?
Exactly. I think it gives me more of an appreciation of the game. Instead of a guy just sitting on the couch or sitting on the bench, just watching the game happen, actually you being there, you have more of an appreciation of the game. You realize that it's not as easy, you know, and a lot of guys who are talented, you see why, you know, they kind of get the favoritism because, hey, this is our prime athlete and he does so much for us. It gives you appreciation of you doing your part and he's going to do his part. And at the end of the day, you guys will win.
Yeah, it's leadership by committee instead of thinking that the coach is a leader.
Yeah.
You get out of high school, what's the next step for you?
Out of hitch school after that, it was pretty much just lingering around, just trying to figure out where I would want to play. You know, I had that scratch, that itch I wanted to scratch. So I was looking into Iowa Western, looking into moving out the state. I had a friend, Davon Bridges, who played for the Omaha Beef and the Sioux City Bandits. He stated, hey, go to the Stockmen. What's the Stockmen? Never heard of them. One Instagram search changed my life.
And see, and this is what people don't understand. Like, if you follow Wired Access, if you've seen anything, like, everything to me matters because the opportunity could be for someone that you never meet, you never know. And I would feel so much better. I mean, I think one of your kicker, Cole
Mullen.
Yeah, that dude would come to the club. I'm a DJ as well, so I knew him from the club days. So I keep in touch, seeing his family. But my biggest thing is I see their posts and I'm willing to share it. I think I ran into you guys. You guys were at the nutrition place down off of Cornhusker doing some signings. That business supports you. You guys were doing player signs, taking pictures, shared it. People went down there to see if you guys were there. And it's like word of mouth is so much. You guys won a championship. Of course, for me, you know, I was sponsored by Omaha Supernovas, who won a championship. I've done a lot of work with the Omaha Beef, and I'm returning this year with their stuff. They won a championship. You have the women's Nebraska football team that won a championship. The Omaha Stockmen joined that thing, and of course, you probably saw I shared and was like, okay, this guy, we got to hook up. So when you think of seeing people share your stuff that you have no idea, what is your first thing being the market in person? What does that look for you, and how important is that to the business of the Stockmen?
It's really, really huge for me. It's a really appreciation. You know, our owner, Andrew Mather, he sees that with me because growing up into the city, my dad used to take me to UNO games where they were a Division II. And
UNO.
Those old UNO Maverick games. And it was, I stated to him, like, the love of football in this city cannot die. And I just want to continue to grow it. So seeing people like you and other people post our content, it's really appreciation to me.
How did your football career go with the Stockmen? What was it like even reaching out to them? What was that feeling like to get to know? Because there is a lot of semi-pro football teams in the area.
Yeah.
Some come, some go.
Yeah.
The Outlaws have been there for years.
Yep.
The Stockmen are just hit 10 years.
Yes.
The Malaysia have hit many years, and they're winning, you know, and all these teams are winning. So it isn't like they're just getting together to go have fun and play. They're having fun playing football with championships, rings, the same things that you can get from a college, from and we're not saying go to this, but if you don't have the opportunity for the other, look for the latter.
Yep, absolutely. When I joined the Stockmen, it was pretty much an easy situation of getting in, honestly. They were like, you want to play? Come join. You know, they were at a stage where they're going to league championship games, but they just could never get over the hump. You know, I came in right in the leg of that. You know, did the tryout. It was a quick tryout, nothing too special or nothing too organized. You know, that's one thing I can say about the Stockmen, is very organized. And then 2019 going to 2020, going in playing as a running back. You know, I wanted to continue that position from high school. Now I'm bigger, stronger. COVID year happened, so we kind of couldn't play that year. And then going into 2021, that's when everything just really fell into together, and like the puzzle piece was perfect. So after that, we just start going on a roll.
And then when did you decide or make the decision, or have to make the decision, for football to change for you, to go from where you're a player to now you're doing the media marketing, your own podcast, your own stuff of photography, videography? I mean, that's time consuming.
Yeah.
Where did you make that flip, and what was the decision for?
I've always kind of done both. I was always the player that always put in overtime, because I was the player and also doing the graphics for the team as well. So 2021, played, but also was their cameraman, was their film guy, you know, start getting them photos and videos. So now we can start, you know, really bracing and putting ourselves out there. 2022 again. 2022, I moved to linebacker. I was like, I'm tired of getting hit. Let me
go lay the hit.
Let me go lay the hit. You know, our new head coach now, Marshall, who's always also been our defensive coordinator. He said, I don't want you to be a safety. You're too slow. Let's move you to linebacker, because you were running back, and now. And that was the best decision I can do in my career. But I've always been the graphic guy and the player guy. So people will see me with my camera and my phone on the sideline, and then I'm running in on special teams and on defense.
Now, these past couple years have been, of course, special, getting over those humps.
Yeah.
Talk about just the growth of the Stockmen, not just as a team, but even the different players and different styles that have to come together. And I think that's a very important, because the home life for everybody is different no matter the level, right?
Yeah.
But as you get older, there's more additions to this home life, whether it's kids, whether it's how just even having a house, whether it's a job 9 to 5, whether it's making sure you have enough money to make sure that, I can play, but I also have to be covered on the backside. Explain kind of the past couple of years of how you guys have grown to bring a championship caliber team, but still have those same things going on.
It will be one word: commitment. Every guy is committed, whether we have a car issue, whether we can't make rent. Every guy is committed. We have one practice per week, and guys come to practice and guys come to play on Saturdays.
Do you think that makes it better cutting it back to one practice compared to like 2 or 3 because of where you guys are trying to be? I would say that because consistency.
Yeah. I would say in any other different situation or probably, football club, no. But for us, if it's not broken, don't fix it. That's what led us to 4 league championships and a national championship.
When you look at the difference in the leagues, and then of course our local Omaha Beef have went through this.
Yeah.
There's so many leagues out there.
Yes.
How do teams find what league fits for them? Is it the commissioner that really probably puts it together? Is it the number of teams even a big matter to you guys?
Honestly, no. In 2022, our owner Andrew Mathers, he contacted me and told me, "Hey, I'm looking to do a new league, and if you're a semi-pro fan or just a football fan and you want to understand the leagues in semi-pro, look at college, look at the SEC, look at the Pac-12, Big Ten. You see all the mess that they're going through now. It's pretty much that same thing. So honestly, it doesn't matter if you have a league with 4 teams. Those 4 teams are top contenders. If you have a league with 4 top contenders, you'll still be ranked nationally. There's a lot of leagues that has 20 teams, but those teams on there are really bad or really low. So it doesn't really matter what league you play in. As long as you have a team at the top that always ranks nationally, you'll get a spot.
And when you talk about this ranking nationally, how do these leagues get together? What league are you guys in? And then you said you guys obviously got the nationals. How did that come together?
Yeah, so we are in the Heartland Football Association, going in now our 5th year. We contact other teams and pretty much they just levy together. It's pretty much the semi-pro fan, honestly, that ranks us to determine who's the best or not. They look at your competition and see, if you're a team in the Big Ten or let's say the ACC and you're Clemson, you play NC State all the time, you're probably not going to be ranked top 10. But if you're SEC, Alabama always gets ranked number 1. They look at your level of competition, and once you have a level, then you pretty much get ranked in the top 10, top 15.
And when you're talking about top 10, top 15, how many leagues are part of this group? And possibly if you had to give an idea of the amount of teams.
I'm going to probably say, honestly, it's probably about 10 leagues, 20 leagues. I would say 10 leagues, and I would say, honestly, about 50 semi-pro teams out there. That's just nationwide. That's honestly probably just Midwest, not probably even nationwide. Top teams, they consist of Detroit Ravens, Dallas Prime, Joplin Crusaders, Minneapolis Warriors, our biggest rival, us. Other teams, no disrespect to them, but it's so many. It's crazy. It's hectic.
What do you think leads to the success that Omaha has been seeing when it comes to this? I mean, and I think it even trickles down to the college.
Yeah.
I mean, UNO's doing some amazing things. Their softball doing great. I mean, of course, we all wish they had football, but to be honest, you're seeing their basketball get opportunities that these kids have never had.
Yeah.
How important is that for this area just to see sports flourish like that?
It's great. I think for us, it's specifically for the Omaha Stockmen, it's us just always reloading. We look at it as don't rebuild, reload. Just getting guys in and buying into what we have. We always, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So guys see us practice, and our practice are brutal. when you know it's like, it's gonna be brutal, and we hold each other accountable. So if you have a offsides in the game or interception, you're gonna run for it, and guys buy in and just realize that, hey, we got something here, and now we're just trying to grow within the Omaha community.
And when you're looking at growing, how do you guys find players? How do people find out about that part? And is it something where you guys are out in the high schools and that, because I think semi-pro probably finds more diamonds in the rough than they get that college athlete that showed it at a college level. I think, and I could be wrong, but I just feel like from what I've known, from when I coached it and from when I see it,
Yeah.
I mean, I had a guy named Mario Owens,
Mm-hmm.
and this dude was a beast and never played a lick of high school, all because he didn't have people. I had to buy his cleats for him.
Yeah.
And he repaid me, and he repaid me with like just showing the. And I mean, he went to Colorado and had some fun with it, but it's like, man, if these kids had someone that believed in them just as a coach here did,
Yeah.
and he went to Burke, I think, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what could have happened with this kid? I mean, he reminds me he reminds me of like a DeMarcus Ware and stuff like that, quick off the edge, and it just sucks because I see these athletes that they just, no one believed in them.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's one thing we're changing now is really getting to the developmental of our players. A lot of guys, a lot of our athletes are coming in off of word of mouth or, seeing a Facebook post randomly. We don't really necessarily have a pipeline of bringing guys in. A lot of our guys are really veterans who've been with us since day one in 2014. So that I think we're changing that dynamic now, reaching out on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and guys are contacting us and saying, "Hey, when's your tryouts? When can I play? Would love to see you play with you guys."
Now I get to see the message on the backside for the Omaha Beef, and it's just crazy the amount of more spam than anything else that comes to your media part.
Yeah.
How do you control and find out who's real and who's not when it comes to like even just vendors?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's trying to sell you a jersey, a shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a kid over in Asia making it. I don't know, but they're trying to sell dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And they're reaching out at 4 a.m. So it's super important. What's that like for you?
Honestly, it's there's a show called Friday Night Tykes, and there's a saying, you don't know until the click clack starts happening. I wait for the opportunity to actually come and them to prove themselves. So if it comes to an athlete and he comes to a tryout and I see he's not conditioned or he's not ready, because every athlete that reach out to me and asks me what will it take for a tryout, I say just condition, get ready. And then for vendors, it's just reading the message, seeing it's the same message back and forth. A lot of our people honestly just reach out through us, honestly, more than the actual page.
And that's always good because it's a trust to you and what you do. When you think of the social media side, what do you think has been one of the best things of it, and what do you think is something that might not have helped the situation?
I think for the best situation is we have, if not the best local fans. Our fans travel. You should have seen our guys come to Minneapolis, which is 6 hours away. It was full with red more than the teal from the Minneapolis Warriors. And me and the owner, manager, we were like surprised and shocked. Like, our guys actually travel, our fans actually travel. So I think we have the best local fans more than anything. I'll say the hardest part is breaking the algorithm and letting people know that, hey, Omaha has something and it's something special to watch,
The camaraderie between the teams. Obviously, there's a business side.
Yeah.
But there is a side where, from what I could tell, everybody wants every team to succeed in this area.
Yeah.
How important is that to why we've seen our success?
I think it's honestly just us growing as a community, realizing that it's not just us. It's the Nebraska Pride. It's the Omaha Outlaws. It's the Bobcats. It's the Law Dogs. It's the Beef. It's everybody. The Hearts. The old Hearts. It's just realizing that we need to put ourselves on the map so we can bring everyone together. We had something with Omaha Beef where we were scheduling our games weeks different from theirs, because we want to support them and they want to support us. And that's a beautiful thing about us in Omaha. We all support each other.
See, and I think the Omaha Beef did a good job. Of course, political people say they're political BS. From the outside looking in.
Yeah.
What happened with the Iowa arena team?
Yeah.
Exploding real quick.
Yeah.
And what the Beef did, some people are like, oh, I can't. No, they reached out and they wanted to help the community of arena football because that's the brand.
Exactly.
And for you guys, just like you said with the Pride, the Bobcats, the Spartans, all the ones that are just super close here, the fans is what is going to make you make or break a team.
Exactly.
And when you're able to do the schedule and you're able to work together like that, how often are you guys going out to other games of other teams, and how often are you inviting them to come out to see you guys?
Often we do. We make it as a outing. You know, hey, what guys want to grab a beer and come watch the Beef game? You know, because we have a lot of our players that actually play for the Beef or play for other teams, so we're out there supporting them as well. You know, the militia, the outlaw. So we'll go out and support them as well. So it's you'll see a lot of us, you know, coming out there with our cameras, helping them out. You know, getting them content as well. So it's a beautiful thing.
When you joined the Stockmen, what was kind of your number one goal, and what has kind of developed to your new goal?
My number one goal was getting the team more reach, you know, letting more people know, you know, reaching out to you guys, reaching out to other, you know, news networks and letting them know there's something special here. There's something I've never seen before. This is an NFL documentary here. You know, I made a video of our championship season in 2022 on YouTube, and it's just something special. So that's one thing I continue to push. You know, I think that's a goal that I would never lose until it's where I wanted to be.
See, and that's what Omaha Beef just released theirs, because the National Arena League just created a video of the championship game where they actually had a couple mic'd up. They had coach from both sides, and we showed it a couple weeks ago at Hurrdat Sports Bar out in La Vista. Thanks to them for hosting it. And I grew up on that. You know, I know that I'm older than you, but I grew up on seeing the highlights of a championship and knowing that this is available with all the technology we have, no matter the level.
Yeah.
Now, we get it, you know, growing up, you know, if someone gets it, they get it.
Yeah.
But once you're in the adult stage, these are important times.
Yes.
And capturing them for these players I mean, you don't know what's behind each player, whether it's a parent, whether it's a spouse, kids, them getting to re-see it. What was that like, showing them what you developed back in 2022, and how has it grown, just the fact that they understand what the family means?
It means a lot, because I'll have kids come to the games and ask who did the video, you know, who made this, because it brings me back to when I was a kid watching KTV News 7 and seeing the Omaha Mavericks play, you know, and it's pretty much coming full circle for me, you know, to help this semi-pro team build their Omaha community and win championships. It makes it a little sweeter winning championships, but just building a program, it's great.
When you look at the season, when does what's kind of the frame? So if I have someone that might watch this and goes, hey, I want to possibly join the Stockmen, and of course there's many out there. So if the Stockmen don't have room for you, it's okay. Talk to them. They'll help you find others. What is that schedule like? When do people need to start looking? How do they look? And when does the season play out?
We're actually having a tryout coming up in September. We're going to make a post today. So I'll go ahead and post that as well. But I'll say the typical season starts in February, March. You know, that's mini camp. That's, you know, getting our conditioning ready and everything. Our season really doesn't start until May. We'll probably have a preseason game, arena game, like we played the Iowa Rampage, Omaha Beef in April or May. But the season really kicks off in May. And then season stops in August. And then that's when we go into our off season.
When you think of the off season, what's the connection like at your guys' level? Because I think to continue the success that you guys have seen, your off season is way more important than your in season.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, getting there all 11 there for offense or defense is important, but if you can keep them locked in the off season, how does that go? And what's your guys' success to keep it going?
We give the guys a break for a reason, because, you know, it's a long season. It's a long, hard season, and we're playing in the summertime. So it's hot days. So we let the guys enjoy. Of course, again, it's like a brotherhood. So we're always talking pretty much every single day. But we're also, you know, keeping them active, ring ceremonies of that nature, and just letting them know, hey, be ready, because we're coming back. We're signing new teams to the league. We're bringing new guys in. I think going into next season, we're gonna have a whole lot of open slots for guys. A lot of guys are retiring. A lot of guys have been playing for the team for 10 years. So we have a lot of open slots for new guys to come in fresh out of college, fresh out of high school. So
speaking of the ones that have retired,
mhm.
obviously you deal with them, not just taking photographs of them, but obviously, like you said, they're your brothers.
Yeah.
What is it like when you hear them have to make that decision, and how do you react with them and let them know it's okay, you did your time, we appreciate you.
Yep.
I think because someone will go, oh, it's semi-pro, they probably don't even, no one even cares. Okay, sweet, they're done. But
Yeah.
I think to you guys it's a little bigger than that.
Yeah, I say for coaches, they miss it because it's like, dang, I'm I'm losing my playmaker. But for me, it's a beautiful thing because they put their time in. They've helped grow this organization and club to where we are now. You guys have 5 championships on your back. That's nothing to hang your head on. That's a beautiful thing.
And it don't matter what level you play
exactly.
Because that's what some people try to do. Oh, the Omaha Beef went undefeated.
Yep.
It's who they played.
Yeah.
You still got to put pads on. You still got to go out there and play. You still got to win. Like, it don't matter who you play against. And I'm not saying who they play against isn't nobody, but I'm saying, like, if you try to discredit one thing of these things, you're totally missing what they have put in time-wise.
Exactly.
When you think of money-wise, what's the situation there? So if someone wanted to join, what do they need to know? And it doesn't have to match what, remember, every organization is different. Their backing is, I mean, the amount of sponsors that one team can get can totally make or break the dues.
Definitely make or break the dues. I'll appreciate all of our sponsors. For us, I had the same question coming into the Omaha Stockmen. What does the pay look like? We go off of you're pretty much your own athlete, kind of like an NIL deal. You got someone who wants to sponsor you. Our team fees are pretty much just $250. That's just pays for your uniform and just your playing time. Honestly, we don't try to make a huge deal out money. I know a lot of organizations, a lot of clubs do, but that's your guys' own business. For us, we kind of make it simple and easy for our guys.
Well, I mean, think of the things that they got to pay for. Let's make sure we all know, because I know he said playing time, but it's the referees, the facility, EMS, everything that is involved, the announcer, security, those things all have to be right. And when they're not, you don't get the success that you're seeing.
No,
because on game day, it's not about game day for everybody. Half of them have to worry about the other stuff if it's not in line.
Exactly. Yeah, we have to worry about referees. We have to worry about getting guys actual locker rooms. There's been times where we've gone to a game and the other team doesn't have a locker room. Where can we change? Where are we going to change? We're going to change right on the floor and right on the field. So, we try to make it the most organized as possible. So, when you're playing semi-pro as well, for us, you have to, get your own equipment. But the good thing is we have, connections and places where we know where you can kind of get cheap stuff. A lot of guys have their own gear where they give, but honestly, the money that you're paying into is actually just taking care of that stuff, the referees, the locker rooms, the playing field, everything.
And when you also talk about equipment, don't be afraid to ask if you have a good connection with your high school coach.
Oh, absolutely.
They find ways.
Yes.
I know I had a lot of players go that route.
Yeah.
When you look at, so obviously you said coming up off season, when should people start signing up to try out? You have the tryout coming up.
Yeah.
Is it a one day? Go ahead and go into that.
Yep. It'll be a one day. It'll be most likely a Saturday or Sunday. We try not to take up too much people time. Most likely we'll be at Ralston High School, which is pretty much a second home for us. And appreciation to them as well. We're the last semi-pro team that can actually play there. So it most likely will be there. But start contacting us now. We'll get you the details. When we'll have the tryout again, it will be sometime in September. If one thing condition, that's the one thing I will say, start running. You don't have to be super strong. You don't have to be super smart, but conditioning will help you a lot with our program.
Okay, so the one tryout, then what happens?
After the one tryout, we'll possibly have a second one, but in most cases, you're most likely locked into the team once you hear back from us, and then we'll go into mini camp, get you all the details on when we'll start. we'll have an official meeting just so you can meet more guys, meet the vets, meet the coaches, meet the front office, and then we'll start, getting ready. Playbooks will be available on Hurrdat for us. That's one of our biggest things is we have Hurrdat, so you can
that's
watch
a bonus.
You can watch tape. That's one thing that goes into that $250 that you're paying is paying for your Hurrdat.
See, and I'm going to tell you right now from experience,
Mhm.
the reason Tommy Armstrong was so good at what he did, we're at an after party, and I'm DJing it at the after party. He's sitting there, and my wife's like, "You want something to drink?" He's like, "I'll just take a Shirley Temple." Get him a Shirley Temple. They're sitting there BSing. She looks over. What are you doing? Just looking at the playbook.
Yep.
Because it's on Hurrdat, looking
It's
at
on
plays
Hurrdat.
like,
Yep.
and he talked about the mental. How
Yep.
important is just having your mental game right for this level? Because it is over the skill.
Yeah.
If you can completely do the right thing,
Yeah.
the rest works itself out. But if you
Exactly.
can't stay on that route,
It'll make or break your season if your mental's not right. The game against the Minneapolis Warriors, our biggest rivals, they're coming to our city with undefeated home record, and they blow us out 40-7 because our mental wasn't right. We thought it was gonna be, just
walking the street.
a walk in the street, but they dog walked us. Honest to say, and that's because our mental wasn't right. If you don't have the mental capacity to play in this game, just be a spectator. Honestly,
I'm a sponsor looking to sponsor. What should I know? And how do they get a hold of you that way if someone watches this?
Yep, you can get in contact with the team page or our owners, Jason and Andrew Mathers, even myself, Michael Whaley. We have Robert Coley as well, working in the front office, Nick Graham. All those details can be put on our social media, but honestly, just reach out to the social media page. You'll get a response in a quick second.
Do you guys have a regular website page that people can look at?
Yep, we do. We have Omaha Stockmen. We're currently working on upgrading our website as well to Omaha Stockmen football shift. But if you look at our Facebook page and Instagram page, it'll be all in that link in the bio.
Man, I remember so many teams used to create a homes team.
Yep.
For semi-pro.
Yep.
That was the website they all went to.
Yep.
Homes team.
Yep.
Oh man. Well, I greatly appreciate your time and just sharing an option for people to find what they are looking for.
Absolutely.
Like I've said, I've shared all the local teams that are doing good things. And even if they're not, I mean, as long as I could tell that from the outside looking in,
yeah,
it's respectable. They're looking for the right athlete. They're trying to do good things.
Yeah.
What's coming for 2025? What should Omaha be aware of and maybe look out for the future?
Yeah. We're looking at it as what we call #new era. Change of head coaching. A lot of our guys are retiring, but we're looking to continue the dominance. If you want to be a part of something special and be a part of something great, definitely come play with the Omaha Stockmen. Looking to add more difficult teams. That's one thing we don't waver from. We have a uniform called Gunsmoke because we don't run for the smoke. We want to play everybody. If it helps us nationally, that's what we want.
When you're looking at the team this coming up here, what's some of maybe the major needs that maybe if I'm that player, and I'm not saying not every position's needed, but maybe there's some key ones that you know of off the top of your head.
It's very hard because pretty much when you play for the Omaha Stockmen, you can play for any position, honestly. Again, I went from running back to safety to a linebacker. So, if you're an athlete and you love ball, you can play any spot, honestly. So I can't say quarterbacks, can't say running backs, linebackers, safeties. If you can play, come.
Well, we'll get you out of here on this. This is probably one of the top questions.
Yeah.
Medical. What's the coverage? What do they need to have? What should they have? And I say that because a lot of people, depending on their job, they might not have that coverage, especially if they're trying to do that. I say it with what I do. I own a lawn company.
Yeah.
And my guys, the lawn company is more so they can do things outside of what we do.
Yeah.
And we get done at 2, here I am, boom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? For you guys, what's the medical side and what should people make sure they have taken care of so if something was to happen.
Yeah, we actually do have a team doctor. Again, that's what you're paying for. That's what's in your fee. That's what we made sure it's available for you. You know, we have that contract for you guys when you sign it. You know, we're hold liable for you guys. So I would say just get a regular physical. You know, just taking care of your human health. Nothing too special, nothing too crazy. We haven't really had to deal with a lot of guys with CTE or any head concussions or anything. But we have a team doctor, so you know, if you want to make sure that that's taken care of before, you can, but we have that available as well.
Man, I appreciate your story. Yeah. Check out the Omaha Stockmen, but also check out any of the sports going on. You know, Nebraska, I think, is heading in the right direction for the Huskers. But until then, there's plenty of championship caliber teams in this area. Go support them locally. Remember, you'll see DJ KDub Omaha Wired Access out there. Again, with the plug-and-play wired access player of the game. We'll be checking you out at the games coming up. And remember, this is a Hurrdat Sports production. We'll see you next time.